Finally, we've made it to standard form. This is our third variation of the equations of lines, and for review's sake, I'll show you the previous two. When we first started, we reviewed the y equals mx plus b, where you need a slope and a y-intercept. Then we went to point-slope form, where you also need a slope, but you need any point. And the third form, and the star of the day, is going to be standard form ax plus by equals c. It's going to be a little different. Let's get going. The first thing I notice with this example is it is written in this form. So I can kind of see that it's ax plus by equals c. That's standard form. And here is the problem I'm working with. Of course, I've got a plus and a minus there, which can be a little bit annoying, but we'll deal with that. For those of you who like procedures, I've written the procedure that I'm going to follow over here, and as I do each step, I will refer to where I am in this procedure. I'm going to start with make a t-chart. There's my t-chart, but take a look. It's a little different than other t-charts that you've done before. I've put a 0 in the x column, and in a different location, I've put in a y equals 0. I'm going to now move on to step 2. I'm going to take this x equals 0, and I'm going to plug it into this equation to get out a y value. Here's how it would go. I would say instead of 4x, I would say 4 times 0 minus 2y equals 12. So I've taken this equation, but where I see x, I plugged in a 0. That's kind of saying that x equals 0 goes there. When I do this, now I can solve for y, because 4 times 0 is 0. So that's a 0 minus 2y equals 12. But I don't really need that 0, so I'll just say negative 2y equals 12. Divide each side by negative 2, and I get a negative 6. So I've plugged in x equals 0 to get y. Now I'm going to move on to plug in y equals 0 to get x. So I take the same equation that I had, and now I'm going to plug in a y equals 0. So 4x minus 2 times 0 equals 12. This equation, but now my y is 0. The beauty of that is negative 2 times 0 is 0, so that just goes away. So I have 4x equals 12. Divide each side by 4, and I get x equals 3. So your first step is always make a t-chart, have a 0 for x and y, do your plug-in to get the other one, and now what you have from this t-chart is ordered pairs. This is really the ordered pair 0, negative 6, and this is the ordered pair 3, 0, because remember, every ordered pair is an x and a y. That's an x value, that's a y value, that's an x value, that's a y value. So I'm going to now plot those on a graph. So here are my 2 points that I got from earlier in the procedure, and now I just take them 0, negative 6, put it on the graph, 3, 0, I put it on the graph, and the final thing is just to connect the dots. That's the final thing in our procedure. Ta-da! I now have the equation of the line using the standard form. Actually, precisely speaking, I have the graph of the line in standard form. We started with the equation in standard form. A final vocabulary piece. As this graph travels along, it crashes through the x-axis right there. That's called the x-intercept. It's where the line intercepts the x-axis. And as the line continues to travel down here, it's intercepting the y-axis. Here's the y-axis. That's the point where it intercepts the y-axis, so we call that the y-intercept. You know that from y equals mx plus b, but the x-intercept might be new language for you.